wait a second so it doesn't put me in that game again. COD in general makes me feel like I worked a full 9 to 9. Yeah, bro, it's... Look, bro, I really do feel like out of anybody on the internet, I actually could... I truly don't know if this is true or not. But obviously this Hassan clip went super viral. And I'm not close friends with Hassan. But I know him. I've hung out with him. I've had conversations with him. I think everybody did take his comments about his social battery and streaming a 9 to 5, which one's harder. I think people took those comments a little too seriously. I don't think he actually meant that. It's sort of like the golden rule of streaming. You don't say that shit. But when I rack my brain, I think I might be I'm in a unique position where I can actually like answer that question. Like I used to work 40 hours a week at McDonald's, and then I got into professional Call of Duty and then streaming. I did that for like 7 or 8 years. And then I started 100 Thieves and kind of put myself in a position where I was working like a traditional 9 to 5 job. And now I'm back, still carrying some of those responsibilities from 100 Thieves, but streaming again. I legitimately like think I have probably one of the better perspectives on that question or on that prompt. What I think you need to be able to do for the context of that conversation is, and this is for somebody that's never gotten to work like whatever their dream job would be. No matter what you're doing for work, it could be something that you dreamt up since you were a kid. That I would be so happy if I could just make my life and my job this one thing. As soon as you get there, if you're depending on that activity or that job or that career for a living, no matter what you're doing, whether it's the best thing that you've ever done in your life or it's the worst fucking job you've ever had, as soon as you're trying to earn a paycheck for it, it's work. Like, work turns into work. There's no other way around it. And that's just the reality of just, like, human nature. I'm telling you, bros. Like, think of Dustin Johnson. This guy is making tens of millions of dollars. And probably the most aggressive example I could make. But this guy, like, signed with Live Tour. Collected a check and was like, yeah, this allows me to play less golf. And where I'm sitting, I'm like, yo, Dustin Johnson, can you shut the fuck up? I would cut off my left nut to play professional golf like 80 hours a week. Brother, I would do anything. Whereas this guy, he's been playing golf his entire life, and I'm sure he loves it some days, but a lot of days probably just feels like a job to him. Like, oh, fuck, I gotta go to the gym, and I gotta go to the course. If I don't do this, I'm gonna show up to this event, and then I'm gonna have fucking Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka and every other man on this planet who's as talented as me working 10 times harder to try to beat me. Like, I don't want to embarrass myself, so let's go. I gotta go work. But let me say this. Would I rather stream 80 hours a week than work 40 hours a week at McDonald's? 100%. Absolutely. And where streaming can be very taxing mentally is I think the people that you see complain the most about streaming are those that are sort of in the middle of the road where it's possible for them to make a living from it, but no matter how many hours they put in, they're kind of just barely getting by. Like, I see a lot of people try to go full-time with streaming when they really can't afford it. And it's really hard to balance, like, going to school, having a job, and then trying to stream in your downtime to hopefully make it all of your time in the future. And a lot of people take that leap pretty early, thinking that, oh, I have to be all in for this to work. And I think it just leads to frustration, creative frustration, anxiety, pressure. Like, no matter how you cut it, being an entrepreneur is not easy. You have to be very coordinated and planned of how you spend your time and very structured the way that you live your life. And I would say like 50% of the population, me included, is actually not very good at having that type of self-discipline to manage their time the best they possibly can. Being an entrepreneur in any industry is very difficult, bro. And it can be very lonely. But look, for me now, somebody who's like clearly just from the sub count alone financially can afford to stream full time and be very, very comfortable. This is the best job I could ever ask for. And working at 100 Thieves, like on the business, it was really hard. It has been really hard for me to watch a lot of my like colleagues from a content perspective, like Brooke and Jack and Ray, as they're sitting here streaming like Fortnite 8-10 hours a day, making just barrels and barrels and barrels of cash every single day. And I'm grinding away at 100 Thieves, hoping that these investments that I make every day through the work that I'm doing pay off in the future. And I enjoy a lot of the things that I do at 100 Thieves, but there's a lot of things that I had to do that if I chose how I would spend my time every day, those things would not even be on my radar. So, look, like we said, being an entrepreneur, being a full-time streamer, content creator, for the context of that individual's life, it is a very hard job. But a lot of times they're not in a position where they need to or have to go see what's on the other side of the fence like a traditional 9-to-5. You kind of just get disassociated and detached from what that would actually feel like for you every single day. Like, you are not able to put yourself in a place mentally to find out what that would feel like. And so from my personal perspective, which I think is an easy answer for everybody in this chat, working a normal job is way more difficult than streaming 9-to-5. But once you're streaming 9-to-5, it is a very hard job because you're battling a million other motherfuckers on the internet that can do what you're doing, and a lot of them could probably do it better. And you're just fighting for attention 24/7. Oh, I went live at 7 a.m. Fuck, Nadeshot and Scump are all on. I was just on this stream schedule for the last 2 years, and now this guy's Scump retired from Call of Duty, and Nadeshot, who was a full-time business owner, is streaming at my peak time. I gotta change my entire sleep schedule. I gotta do a graveyard shift if I want to get any viewership. And then you change that viewership stream schedule. None of your audience that watch you for the last 2 years are watching. So you feel like you're actually legitimately rebuilding your community every single day. It's like those types of things are the things that weigh heavily on your mind. So they're very different problems, but you can't like diminish those problems for that individual. And you can say like, oh, all right, if it's such a big fucking problem, then just quit streaming and be like the rest of us. Go work 9-to-5. It's very fair. Like, you can make that argument, but look, man, going back to what we originally started talking about, at the end of the day, no matter how much you love something, as soon as you are trying to use that thing that you love to earn money and make a living, it becomes a job. And I think the benefits and perks of being a full-time streamer far outweigh the positive and benefits of a full-time job. 9-to-5, more traditional route. But nonetheless, it's a job at the end of the day. So It's not the easiest thing for me to articulate things thoughtfully while I'm trying to multitask and play, but hopefully that made some sense. Long story short, I would much rather stream full-time than work a regular job. But still difficult at times. Just different levels of difficulty and different types of difficulties.